Hi everyone, this is Siti Arshad Snyder. In this tutorial, I am going to demonstrate how to uh, insert data into your existing table. So at this point, if you have any data that you might have entered in your table, you should delete all of those test data. Right now, we want to make sure that all the data that you will be uploaded or you'll be inserting into your database are clean data, so that when you write your query to retrieve data, your result is going to be accurate. Okay, so for this demonstration, I am going to insert data into my course table. So I want to make sure first that I'm gonna do that. So I want to see if there is any data in my table, and we can do that by typing the command select star. Star means you would tell the system to show everything that is in that table or that are in that table. Select from, and you want to look in this table. So you can type in dbo dot course. Okay, and if you run this query, you will see that there is no data currently is in that table. Now the next thing that you also want to do is that if you have already entered, even if you have never entered any table, this is what I would like you to do. You need to reset the auto numbering for this particular table. Remember, in my other lecture I said that because we have already set this table as auto number, even if you have deleted any prior data, the system will not reuse those values that were used for the primary key column in this particular table. So for this exercise, I want all data to start with at 1. So all primary key will have a value of 1, and then it keeps incrementing to whatever values that we depending on the number of data that you have. So to reset the auto numbering count or increment, you will need to type in a command db cc check ident, and we want to check it in our course table. And we want to reseed, basically start recounting all over again or auto numbering, and we want to set it to the count to 0. Okay, so if I run this, any numbers or any values that I have used previously will be ignored by the system, because now we have no data in there. So, and then after you have done these two, now you can type in the command for you to insert your data. So to do this, you will do, you can do in capital or small, it doesn't matter. Insert into, we want to insert it into dbo.course. And the field that you want to be inserted are, you are going to refer back to your entity relationship diagram and see if I can find my entity relationship. Okay, so here is my entity relationship diagram partially, if you can see. So we want to make sure that our field that we want to insert data to are consistent with we're doing course. So with all these fields that we have identified under course. Another place where you want to verify that your fields are consistent would be your data dictionary. So go back to your data dictionary, and here I have what did I say, course, right? So we have these three items. Oh, excuse me, how many we have? Course ID, course title, course fee, and course effective date. So I'm going to type those all. Course. Okay, the first field that you have is course ID. Remember, course ID is going to be auto-populated by the system. So we are not going to insert any values into the field manually. So because that field is going to be automatically updated, we are going to ignore this field. Okay, so the first field value that we want to insert is the course title. And so we will type in course title, comma, the second one is course fee, comma, and CRS EFF date. Okay, so it is helpful to have this option for your columns expanded so you can see the exact spelling of each field that you want to populate. If you by any chance misspell any of these, your insert operation will not be successful because the system can't find that particular field that you're trying to insert data to. Okay, so here we have defined the fields that we want to populate with data. Then the next thing is you need to tell the system what the values are for the data that you want to insert. So I am going to be providing you with a text file that looks something like this, and all you have to do is copy. I have formatted everything for you. Okay, so you just select all, and then you can right click copy, or here I will do right click copy and then right click paste. So you will have this you don't have to do that. The system will automatically figure out if they belong to the same line or not, so no worry. One thing that you have to pay attention to is let's see, when you run this, you want to make sure that you run just for the insert command. So you want to highlight, because we have some other commands up here. I'm just keeping it here, but really you don't have to. You can delete that. But you will be using this command for every single insert data for every single tables in your database. So it's helpful to just keep it there so you don't have to keep typing it. Okay, so that what I do is I select all my command and then I execute the command. So you can see here that there are 14 rows affected, and I am going to refresh my table. And then if I run the select command again to see the rows in my database or the input that I have the values that I have populated into my table, I can do this. So I select this command, highlight it, and execute it. So here you can see the values of the values that I had copied over into my table. Another way to look at this is by going to your table and right click on it and edit top 200 rows, and it will bring you this the table with the content that you have populated. Okay, so just to show you what happens if you did not run this command before you populate your table. So let me go back here and I am going to delete this, okay? So now delete. So now I have no data in my table. So this table is basically empty. If I go back here and I run this to see the content of my table, just to make sure, you will see that there is nothing in the course table. And let's say I want to populate this table with this data again, but I did not run that. Okay, so I'm not going to run that, and instead I'm going to go ahead and run the insert command to insert all these values into my table. So you will see that again 14 rows are affected, meaning 14 rows have been populated. So if I go back to this table and edit top 20 rows, basically you want to see the edit 20. Oh, it did not did that for me, so I'm gonna refresh. Let's see, what was I doing? Okay, so edit 20 rows. So you have these rows that have been populated, but look at what happened to the course ID. The course ID does not begin with 1 because previously when I first loaded this table, the first 14 numbers were used for the course ID, and the system automatically decide that it will not reuse those course ID numbers because it was used previously, and it's going to stick with the unique values. But when I run this command right here, it forces the system to reuse those values because really we don't have any duplicate items. We have already deleted those, so it is okay to reuse those values. Okay, so I'm going to delete this again. So here we have up to 28. I'm going to delete and say yes, and I'm going to close this table. And so if I run this query to see the content of the table, it should say 0 data. There is no data there. And then I want to repopulate that table. So I'm going to run this command first because I want to make sure that everything got reset in there. So I execute that and it says okay, it has been done. So now I'm going to run this again. So now the 14 rows have been populated again, and I am going to refresh my table, and then if I run this command, I should get, so now my course ID has been reset to 1. Okay, so this is very important. If you have to reload your table, make sure that you always run this command first. Otherwise, it's going to mess up your data, because the data that I have prepared for you is based on course IDs that the primary key ID starting number 1. All right, have fun with populating your data, and you want to do all these steps, at least these 2 steps for every single table that you have.